in London crackles with tension, two movements, two opposing forces, march towards a showdown. On one side, the chants demand justice for a controversial figure. On the other, a rallying cry against racism and extremism. But beneath the surface, this is more than a protest. It's a battle for the soul of the country. It all started with one name, Tommy Robinson, or, as he was born, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, a man hailed as a hero by some, condemned as a provocateur by others. His supporters gathered under banners reading, "Stop the isolation" and "Unite the Kingdom," although calling for his release from an 18-month prison sentence. Their message? The establishment is silencing a voice they don't want you to hear. But across the city, another march was unfolding. Organized by Stand Up to Racism, counter-protesters moved towards Whitehall, their banners rejecting hate, Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. They see Robinson not as a truth-teller, but as a symbol of rising far-right extremism. The Metropolitan Police were bracing for impact. Officers lined the streets, barricades set in place. Their mission? Keep the two factions apart, maintain order, prevent chaos. But could they? For those marching, this wasn't just politics. It was personal. Some feared the erosion of free speech, others feared the rise of hate. A country that once stood united now seemed fractured. Two sides, screaming past each other, each convinced they were the ones fighting for justice. London's law enforcement had a delicate balance to strike, with tensions already simmering from past riots. How they handled these protests could set a precedent for the future. Commander Louise Putterfoot assured the public they were well prepared. But in an age of viral moments and live-streamed confrontations, one wrong move could ignite a firestorm.
Do you know something? Today's protest is very, very important. And it is important for people to come out and support Tommy Robinson, because Tommy is a political prisoner. All he has done, and he's admitted to the offence. All he has done, is defied a judge and published a film on Twitter which has had nearly 160 million views. And those 160 million views, the people watching know that Tommy has told the truth. So why is he in solitary confinement? Why is he in prison? Why is his rights being defiled by the system? And for me, I'm out here as an English gentleman with my Union Jack suit, with my Union Jack tie, proud to be out here.
And if so, how does a nation begin to heal? Are these protests a symptom of deeper fractures in society? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
In the 1930s, there were a lot of fascists, but they didn't all get on with each other. Now, unfortunately, they're very good at getting on with each other. Elon Musk can support Tommy Robinson. Trump has good relations with the fascists in Europe as well. You know, but the problem is, what gives them fuel is the really feeble approach of the centrist politicians, who don't speak to people's needs, don't help people solve their problems. And when the fascists say stop the boats, a Labour government says stop the boats as well. And people are looking for answers. They're not finding it in the conventional politics, so they become prey to the real grifters and exploiters like the Farage and Tommy Robinson, who are only in it for themselves.
At the moment, Nigel Farage is trying to appeal to be an electoral force, and not to be associated with the boot boys and the far right. If we can make a wedge between him and Tommy Robinson and the real, the far right fascists, this is good, and it's a way of splitting their movement. We have to capitalise on that. The fact that Elon Musk is trying to put pressure on Nigel Farage to say, yes, I support Tommy Robinson, is actually forcing apart their movement. So I think we have to be hard on the Reform Party. They are a nasty far-right party. We have to be harder on Tommy Robinson and the boot boys on the far right.
There's lots of signs here against Donald Trump. Do you think that Keir Starmer should welcome him for a state visit?
He's going to come anyway. Right, no, he doesn't need to be welcome. He's going to bully his way through anything he wants to. And, you know, it's sad that the young people think that just being really basic and having no analytical skill is straight talking. It isn't. It's like being basic, no analytical skill, and just being a bully.
No, absolutely not. Now, we see this kind of politics from the so-called sensible centrists that is about welcoming fascists into our country. And essentially, that is what Donald Trump is. We've had someone on his stage giving a Nazi salute. Now, I know that he says he didn't do it, and we've heard people supporting him, but he's never refuted it. And, you know, I'm not being funny. If I was being accused of being a Nazi salute, the very first thing I would do is get to a microphone as soon as possible and go, I'd be mortified. I would say that is absolutely not what I was doing and be very clear what I was doing. We've not seen any of that. And, you know, with Donald Trump, I don't think we need to give him the benefit of the doubt. This is a man who has openly mocked disabled people, who is already set. He's not even being vague or not transparent about what he wants to do. He is very clear about what he wants to do. And what he wants to do is 21st century fascism. So to see Keir Starmer welcoming that with open arms, for me, is not diplomacy.
Obviously, the Green Party is a natural home for a lot of young progressive voters, but we've seen a rise in young people moving towards parties like Reform. Why is that?
It's really worrying to see that Reform are attracting young people, and I think it's because young people often have the most to lose at the moment. They look at what their prospects for society look like in the future, and they're seeing a pretty bleak future. We've got Keir Starmer banging on about growth. But the real question is, who is this growth for and how are you measuring it? And I don't think young people necessarily want to see the growth that Keir Starmer is pushing forward, where it's BlackRock and asset management. So I think the one thing Reform have really got right is to analyse the problems. The problems right now are that this growth is not going to be spread among our community. Of course, the solutions that Reform are offering are completely the wrong solutions. They're the solutions of fear, the solutions of hate. And we all have a job, whether it's the Green Party or the wider movement, to put out a real vision that is about hope, but also pragmatism. So it's about offering people the real solutions, so it's tangible to people. Now, we do have a harder job than Reform have. Reform can do easy solutions that are based on lies and aren't based on facts. So for the left, there's a harder job, basically telling a really compelling story that is based in truth and data.
Have you heard of the Joe Rogan pipeline? Yeah, so for example, I think, you know, myself, I do wrestling, and I go gym, and I can see I'm getting targeted through this cultural pipeline that anytime you go gym, you know, you get targeted by those podcasts that are talking about like gym stuff or about wrestling or combat sports, and automatically it's going for the far right at the end, you know. So for example, Joe Rogan used to be very centrist, and now he's gone completely like pro-Trump, and he completely assumed it, completely said it on his podcast that now he's, you know, a Trump supporter. He said it just before the election, and I think as the left, we've got to invest that cultural field as well. We've got to make the left cool. You know, we've got to defy stereotypes about the left that, you know, you can do combat sports as well and be from the left, or you have to create a feeling that the left is cool, and I think that's how you're going to conquer younger people.